Hello, you beautiful individuals. Today, doing something a little different. Very different, actually. So, last night, or was it last night? I don't remember what it was. I think it was last night. My fiance reminded me of an article we both seen the other day, in which a lady from this town that we both grew up around found a piece of French gold coin. And the town is called Minerva, Ohio. It's here. All right, so here's Ohio. This is obviously not the best map. Give me 1 second. Okay, so brought up Google Maps here just to show you a little better. So Minerva is right here. It is, you know, southeast of Canton, about a half an hour, 40 minutes. Very tiny town, like 3,000 people or so. Um, so I tried to find the article. I did, but I could not for the life of me find it. About that lady with the gold. I don't know why. Maybe we both imagined it, but no, we really didn't. I just can't find it again. I didn't look that hard, to be fair, because it's not really important to the story. I mean, it is and it isn't. So she found some French gold. Now, here's the thing. All right, let's go to this. The Great Trail, okay? That is, it was essentially what it says. It was a trail, but a great one, no. So it was a trail that, early colonials and Native Americans before them were using for trade and whatnot, to get around essentially. Ohio was a very important part. You have the Ohio River, you have obviously lush forest and wildlife and relatively moderate climate and weather. So all around a solid place, not too hot, not too cold, good supplies, all that stuff. It hasn't been taken over by the colonials quite yet, as bad. So the year is 1755. We'll scroll up to the top here. Just give you a brief overview. In 1755, the British marched towards Fort Duquesne. Duquesne? Is that how you say that? Give me 1 second. Let me figure out how to say this real quick. Okay, it is Duquesne, at least as far as I could find. And that was, I looked up vlogging through history because I remember him saying something about Fort Duquesne in the video where he reacted to Oversimplified's American Revolution Part 1. Definitely go check that out. And, like I said before, just check out Fort Duquesne's channel in general. Idiot. Fort Duquesne's channel. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Check out frickin' Vlogging Through History's channel. Thank you. Anyway, here is a better example of the Great Trail. Clear from Pittsburgh all the way to Sandusky, goes off into the Muskingum Trail, Tuscarawas River. Here's Minerva on the Great Trail, Malvern, Waynesburg, Carrollton, which used to be called Centerville before it was called Carrollton. But anyway, let's read this. In 1755, the British marched toward Fort Duquesne, an area that would one day become Pittsburgh, to take it from the French who had established it. And mind you, this is 1755. This is a year after the French and Indian War started. Probably less than a year. The French spared 10 men to whisk away their army's payroll. They loaded 16 pack horses with gold and silver and headed to Fort Detroit, which 16, that's a lot of pack horses full of just gold and silver. It's estimated that this treasure is worth, tens if not hundreds of millions of dollars today. Anyway, they never made it. The British intercepted the small detail, killing 8 of the 10 Frenchmen, but not before the French soldiers buried the treasure to keep it out of the hands of their enemy. Sorry if I'm reading it a little too intensely. I'm used to reading stories to my kid. The story was almost lost to history, but a nephew of one of the surviving French soldiers found his uncle's journal about this special assignment, along with specific details of how to find the treasure near present-day Minerva in Stark County, Ohio. The nephew's attempt to locate the booty failed, as has every local attempt these past 200 years. And it just goes on to talk about the podcast that mentioned it. This has been known way before this podcast mentioned it. This article's from like 2018. This other article I have is like from 2008 or something. This Minerva Buried Treasure, this is a newspaper from 1953. So, yeah. It's been known for a long time. Like, people have been looking for this. So, Minerva's right here. All right? Malvern's here. Now, I I grew up in this area, okay? And I had a teacher who had a theory. So here was the thing. The French gold, they said, could be found by, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but by three converging rivers or streams, a deer carved into a tree, and a French crown carved into an unnaturally placed rock. So a rock on top of another rock, essentially, like a big boulder on top of a boulder. It looked unnatural. Now here's the thing, right here, in this little place called Lake Mohawk, which this is a private community, so you can't just like bust on in. Not that it's that hard. I mean, it's not hard to know somebody and then get in. So right here, so you go in through the front gate, right here. That's the front gate. You go up this road, take a left, and right up around this area, okay? There, I don't know if you'll be able to see them. No, you can't really. Damn it. Can't really see that well. I'm trying to find. Okay, here's kind of one. If you see this right here, this looks like a rock, kind of. That's actually a cave. There's a few caves up here from way back in the ice ages, like glacial, rocks came and formed this little valley that is now Minerva and Malvern, and some of them ended up here through magic. I'm just kidding. So, but right here, I believe it's right here. It's either right here, it's right around this little bend, is a really massive boulder on top of like another big, mostly buried boulder. It looks very unnatural. It doesn't look like it happened. Like it looks like someone placed it there. It looks weird. Also, in one of these caves is a little crown, of which a French style carved crown. Now, obviously, anyone could have carved that, obviously, but it was the same style in which back in 1755 the French soldiers used to, mark things and whatnot. So it makes sense. Not only that, where this lake used to be, there used to be three converging rivers and a farmhouse. The farmhouse isn't important. So, my teacher always theorized that it's somewhere in these caves, because way back when he was a kid, he grew up in this area as well. I think it was actually before. I think it was when his dad was a kid. It was back in the early 1900s. The French gold thing, bloomed in popularity and gained traction again. They blew up the cave. Like, so it basically, like, they went down deep and blew it up so you couldn't go down as deep. You can still go in them, but you can't go down that far, except for this one. There's this one that's actually really creepy. It's literally just like a crack. I'm trying to figure out. There's that trail. I want to say it would be somewhere up here behind these people's house. It's literally just a rock, a crack in the ground, and it goes down far. Like when I was a kid, I put a really long rope in this crappy video camera I had with a flashlight, all bundled together, and I lowered it down in, and I couldn't hit the bottom, and it was something like 100 foot or more rope. So I mean, it's a properly deep little cavern there. But anyway, that's not the point. So we zoom back out. This lady found it. She didn't say where she found it exactly, but she's from Minerva, and she said she found it in Minerva. That being said, Minerva's mailing address, it goes pretty far. Like, its city limits aren't far, but you got a fair amount of crap that can be considered Minerva, quote unquote. And Ohio is filled with little streams and springs and rivers and stuff. So, I mean, it would be nothing to say that that there could have been three converging streams at one point somewhere around here with a French crown and an unnatural rock. Like, that's the thing. Even though my teacher theorized that it was here, he didn't know. He said it easily could have been over near Minerva. But the thing is, Malvern is really close to Minerva. That's only about 5 miles. That's not far. And so it didn't say it in that little. It might say it in this next one. We'll look at it in a second. But the French were on top of a hill when they seen the British coming after them, those 10 Frenchmen, before they buried it. That's why they had time to bury it. The thing is, there are hills in Minerva, but these are much taller hills. and then this is pure valley. So like basically the way back in the Ice Age days, they came down and carved just this massive valley through here. And today, Malvern and Minerva both are just really low down valleys. Like the Malvern actually has a park, okay, right here. And this, which used to be the Sandy Beaver Canal, is now just a plain old river. Floods that park constantly. Anytime it rains too much, this whole thing, I mean, purely underwater. Literally floating porta potties, everything. Like it's ridiculous. But anyway, but yeah, that did too. This used to be the Sandy Beaver Canal, which is pretty cool. If you go far enough down, you can actually still find little tunnels where they actually blew both sides up, and there's canal boats inside. Perfectly preserved, pretty much. I mean, obviously they'll be a little rotted away, but yeah. Anyway, so the thing is, this gold could be anywhere. It's most likely in this, like, I wish I could make, like, I'm sure, I don't know how I could, but, what is that? I didn't want to do that. Anyway, it's most likely in this area, somewhere around here. Somewhere in this strip of the Great Trail. The Great Trail used to run right through here. Malvern even has, Great Trail Festival Fairgrounds. It's every year they have, like, a little festival type thing. It's just, a bunch of old-timey stuff, and people make stuff, and food, and all that, and music, and party, whatever. So, Malvern has I say we, I haven't lived in this area for a minute, but Malvern, it's hard to have it to get rid of. They have a motocross track, actually. There it goes. Yeah, little motocross track, which is a fairly popular track. I mean, it's had proper, professionals race here and everything. That's not really the point, nor is that important, but fun little side bit. So, like I said, this part is very hilly. All of this whole lake is just surrounded by hills. I mean, and this is also a pretty big hill. And this hill right here, this hill right here, you can see a fair distance because these hills are taller than these little hills. So you can see a fair distance away. All right, like all of this you can see. This is all valley. And even over these hills a little bit you can see. So it makes perfect sense that they would be able to see the British coming and have time to bury the gold. So, the legend of this treasure was first printed in the April 3rd, 1875 edition newspaper of the Minerva Commercial, Minerva, Ohio. Historians differ on the exact time period. Some researchers suggest 1755, others suggest 1758. They're going off of somebody that found a journal. So, yeah, the dates aren't going to be perfect, but it is generally believed to be 1755. The time periods make sense for when the British were going after Fort Duquesne and all that stuff. Because of the impending attack, the decision was made to move the French gold to safety. Some stories maintain that safety point was Fort Detroit. Other stories maintain it was meant to be taken back to France. Most likely it was Fort Detroit. That made the most sense. Because trying to get it back to France, even though possible, it wouldn't have helped the soldiers that were still here that needed the gold. Here we go. Okay. So, a few days into the journey, the details of Frenchmen sensed an attack was coming. The legend has that they buried the gold and silver treasure point at a near present junction of Columbiana, Stark County, and Carroll County. Which, if you look, hold on, let me get rid of the layers. Okay, it won't show me the counties, but so Carroll County, Malvern is right on the edge of Carroll County. Minerva is actually literally, like, Minerva gets split by Carroll County. So this part's Carroll County, this part's Stark County. And Columbiana, it also gets split because Columbiana's over here. So it's these three spots. Now keep in mind, obviously when this French gold was buried, there was no Carroll, Stark, or Columbiana County. Actually, Carroll County is the newest of them because Carroll County was formed out of like Stark County, Columbiana, Tuscarawas, Jefferson, and something else. I think it was 5 counties. But yeah, it's so where are we at here? The junction of Columbiana. The spot was unique in that there was a natural occurrence of 3 springs together in one vicinity. The men have added a subtle markers, such as a spot, such as placing a rock in the fork of a tree and placing the shovels underneath some logs. The men scattered some accounts, say 8 of were killed, blah, 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 blah. I was trying to read the part about the little crown and all that stuff, but I couldn't find that. Anyways, yeah, this guy mentions it in his book, The Sandy Beaver Canal, 1952. Mentioned that the Spanish gold coin of this period covered by the treasure was found in the craw of a chicken. Interesting. So yeah, we found pieces of it here and there, but we have not. They have no one. So supposedly, no one has found the whole thing. That's the thing. Somebody could have. If somebody found it all, especially way back in the day, let's be honest, they probably weren't gonna mention it, understandably. But yeah, so it's somewhere here, most likely. Most likely, no one's found it. At least that's what I hope. I like the treasure hunter in me. And yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to show off this little thing. I still have a reaction coming that I already recorded, but I remembered this, and I just wanted to do a quick video on it because I thought other people would be interested in it. I mean, who doesn't like a good old treasure hunt, you know? And this one's pretty close to home for me. I mean, I still live in Ohio. I don't live in Malvern anymore, but I'm still not crazy far away. If I wanted to, I could go and search for it. And I have. I mean, when I was younger, teenager and stuff, I tried, I guess, and not very well or whatever. I didn't know what I was doing. But I would definitely love to continue looking for it. Oh, and that's a good point to make too. The Great Trail is different from the Great Wagon Trail. So the Great Trail is more of a footpath, where the Wagon Trail, obviously, for wagons. They just diverged right here. And then the Muskingum Trail diverges, and the Great Trail to Sandusky. Basically, it was a way to get from Pittsburgh to Lake Erie, which was very popular. And then, eventually they built canals, and then they built train tracks, railroad, whatever, trains, and then cars came, and yeah, all those were kind of pointless, unfortunately. But yeah, so if you have anything to offer, if you know anything about this and just want to discuss it, or if you know something I didn't mention or forgot to mention, I've heard a lot of info about this over the years. I mean, this isn't like I was first told about this by my teacher back in high school or middle school, actually. And then, we've talked, like, he was one of my favorite teachers, so we talked about it throughout my time there, and even after school a little bit. And yeah, I've read plenty of articles like these. These aren't the only two. There's a lot of them. I've seen a couple videos, not a whole lot. There's probably more out there though. But yeah, if you want to get rich, come on down to Malvern, Minerva area and walk along the Great Trail. Try to find it. It probably won't be along the Great Trail, obviously. It would probably be off of it slightly. But yeah, find it. Get rich. Give me some. I'm just kidding. Keep it all to yourself, honestly. Don't tell anyone. Sell it off little by little. Oh yeah, here's something. It mentions it in 1863. See, I mean, this has been known for a long time. Like, this is not anything new. It's just, it kind of gets forgotten about, and then it comes back, and then it gets forgotten about, and then it comes back. It's like, it's just one of those things. But yeah, feel free. I am going to have these articles linked, but literally just look up Lost French Gold in Ohio, or Minerva, Ohio, and you'll find it, or Malvern. Either way, you'll find plenty of articles on it. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that happy stuff, and until next time.